Hey guys, backyardfarmerpat here. Guys, today I have my work cut out for me. I am going to be cleaning up this area that is right outside of my patio, right against the fence where I had my cowpeas. Guys, this area has been completely taken over with weeds. You can't even see where I laid the cardboard. You see a little bit of cardboard peeking out there. But guys, in today's video, we're going to be cleaning up all these weeds. I'm going to show you my method that I'm going to be using to transform this area into a beautiful area. And we're also going to be building up the soil as we go along because, guys, healthy soil means healthy plants. Healthy plants means more fruit. And guys, you know I'm all about backyard farming fruits. And guys, make sure you wait until the end. I cleaned up my island and I discovered a whole bunch of ground orchids, some exotic plants that I didn't even know had flowers. And guys, all of that I found just because I cleaned up my island after. So guys, let's get started. All right, guys. So before I start digging, weed whacking, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull up some of these plants. So if you see this, guys, these are my cowpeas. I had my cowpea plants along this trellis, and you know, at the end of the season, I had weed whacked everything down, but several of the cowpeas fell. So I'm gonna be pulling up some of these healthy cowpeas. If you guys want cowpeas, I'll make those available on my Etsy store. These are the red cowpeas. Cowpeas are the same family as pigeon peas, except that these are the red ones. So the peas are actually red. Delicious, delicious, delicious in rice and peas, or you can just stew them down. So I'm gonna pull some cowpeas up, and then we'll do the next step. Also, over here, guys, I have my longevity spinach. I had 2 containers of longevity spinach, but some of the leaf spot that affected my papaya tree, actually the leaf spot, the spores actually fell down and started affecting my longevity spinach. So one of the containers I had to completely remove all the longevity spinach, and this one was a little bit more healthy, but I do see some spots starting. So since I have a third area over by my chicken run area, I'm gonna be getting rid of these longevity spinach altogether. As always, guys, if you have anything that has disease, don't put it in the compost area. At least I don't put it in the compost. I put it in the garbage and dump it outside. That way it doesn't affect the plants. All right, so I'm gonna pull up some cowpeas and then we'll get started on the next step. All right, so I just potted up 4 of the red cowpeas. That's enough. Anybody who wants them, the first 4 people will get these red cowpeas. 1 plant is really enough to enough for a household. As I said, that plant was huge. I got a lot of cowpeas off it. Anyway, and plus it gets really huge. So I'm not going to grow any more cowpeas because I really don't have space. And I have some special plans for this trellis. So I definitely want to get rid of all these weeds. All right, so now that I've removed the cowpeas, all we have is basically weeds, mainly Spanish needle. As you know, Spanish needle, we have this all over Jamaica, all over the islands, all over Florida. It grows in disturbed areas, and you know, this is definitely a very disturbed area. It has a whole ton of Spanish needle. However, I've already harvested the Spanish needle. I have enough inside the house. As you know, Spanish needle, which most people don't know, most people just use this to feed their animals, their goats, their cows. I actually feed some to my chickens also, but Spanish needle is actually edible. You can cook the leaves down with onions, garlic. You know, cook it down the same way you'd cook greens or callaloo. So I have done a video on that. You can see it. Also, Spanish needle has a ton of medicinal benefits. So I do have a bunch. Soak it in a bottle of vodka. I use that for various things, various illnesses, to get rid of cough if you have like a dry cough. If you have a toothache, there's a lot of things that Spanish needle tinctures are good for. Anyway, I'm not gonna save any more of the Spanish needle. I also see, oh, okay. So I also see milkweed. This is a milkweed plant. It's a beneficial plant. It actually attracts the monarch butterfly. So I'm gonna save this milkweed when I weed whack, but everything else is Spanish needle. And Spanish needle, you know, people give it a bad name, but as I said, it's medicinal and it does attract a ton of pollinators. Because I basically have my garden just, you know, I don't really worry too much about weeds. Because of that, I have tons of pollinators. I really cannot say I've ever had any issue getting my stuff pollinated. Anyway, enough talking. I'm gonna set the camera up and we're gonna weed whack and then we'll move on from there. Guys, the weed whack did a really good job of getting the weeds down, but however, behind the trellis is like a mountain of weeds, so I had to move the trellis away. Gonna clean this all up, and then what I'll probably do is not put a trellis so close to the fence next time, just so that if they spray, nothing comes over here, and also it'll give me access to the back area. As you can see, the back area is really bad, but this is the area that I weed whacked. I'm not gonna pull out the weeds because there's a ton of Spanish needle, there's a ton of cowpeas. All those will actually break down in the soil. The root system and the leaves will also break down in the soil and build up the soil. So I'm gonna leave everything in place and cover over that. But first, let's get this area. Got a bunch of butterfly peas off the trellis. So I'm moving the trellis now. I'm gonna move it completely out of the way so I can get to the weeds. Alright guys, yes, I got everything weed whacked down. You can see it looks way better. You can actually see some plants that you guys probably never saw before, like my tuna plant over here, guys. It's actually beginning to bud. This is my tuna plant. It has several buds coming out, and my Hawaiian Thai plant. So I started weed whacking this area too. I have all my pineapples here. I'm gonna have to pull those weeds by hand. I'm probably gonna have to pull some of those out of the ground. I won't be able to just weed whack because there's a ton of pineapples here. I almost wish that these pineapples were done in pots instead of in the ground, because it's very difficult to keep this place without weeds. For the weeds back here by my blue porter weed, I actually had to pull those out of the ground because they were like massive. Some of them are like trees. Then I'm gonna just finish up over here by the bananas. The bananas full of Spanish needle also. I'll have to be careful. Be careful when you're weed whacking close to plants like the banana. It's like more of like a succulent kind of plant. So you don't want to damage the main trunk, because that can really affect the banana. Even though weed whacker shouldn't be able to do too much damage. However, there are some small suckers at the bottom, so I'm going to be very careful not to hurt my suckers. So I'll just keep the weed whacker far from the actual plants, and then I'll pull the ones that are pretty close. So I'm going to do that, and then after that, what I'm going to do is some of my swamp water, that I call it. You know, I have my coolers with different Spanish needle, chicken manure, all the different weeds. I've been composting them down here for like months in some water, and it's super stinky. But I've been using it, not consistently, but from time to time. Now that I have more time, now that I'm retired, I'm definitely going to be using it a lot more. So let me show you what it looks like. This one is almost finished. What I do is when this finishes, I just refill from these buckets that I've been fermenting. All right. There, oh gosh, it's so stink. There it is, guys. this was all weeds, different kinds of weeds, grasses, Mexican sunflower, a little bit of chicken manure embedded, but it's just like black gold right now. It's completely melted down to black gold. So what I do is it's gonna be time to refill pretty soon. This one here, yeah, this one is next. So what I'm gonna do is not throw the actual leaves in. I'm just gonna pour the liquid into this one to refill it. So you just take a jug, or you can even take, like, that's the top of a plastic container. Sometimes I use this to scoop it out, and then I fill this up with water. What I also do sometimes is add fish emulsion. I add fish emulsion to it. So this, guys, I never ever put it on vegetables or fruit or on the actual trees. I just put it in the soil. So what I'm gonna do is pour some in here, maybe an inch and a half in here, then fill it up with water, and then I'm just gonna soak this whole area. So I'm just gonna do it several times till this whole area is soaked. All right, guys, it's the next morning. We actually had some rain overnight, even though no rain was in the forecast, so I'm super happy. Not sure how much rain we got. Let's check the rain gauge. All right, this shows about half an inch. So we didn't get much rain because I forgot to empty the rain gauge before, and I think it was just about half an inch. It's a slightly over half an inch, so we might have got like 1/8 of an inch last night. But hey, I didn't have to water, so I'm happy about that. So here's what the area looks like. You guys remember what it looked like yesterday versus today. And I did go through with my jug and I watered the whole area in. I did that off camera, but so after I finished watering in, I started doing a little cleanup. I just rested down some of the cardboard. I do have more cardboard inside, but I do plan on getting some microbrew, some compost tea, aerated compost tea that will add the beneficial microorganisms, and I'm gonna pour that on along here before I put on the cardboard. So I'm gonna put the cardboard down and then add mulch on top of that. Before I put the cardboard down, because it's gonna take a little bit. The cardboard, of course, will absorb the water and the water will go through. But I want to make sure before I put the cardboard down, I'm gonna give the ground underneath a really good soaking with the compost tea. Soak it with water. I'm gonna soak the cardboard because I don't want, the cardboard to be a block of the liquid going in. So I'm gonna, after I put the cardboard down, I'm gonna really soak the soil underneath, soak the cardboard, then put the mulch down. Okay, so that's how I'm gonna do it. That's how I've done it in the past, and the water does make it through because it's cardboard. Cardboard eventually breaks down. The earthworms love it. As you can see, I was just trying to do a little tidying up. I took the trellis down. I'm gonna remove all those vines vines from the trellis, and then I'm gonna plant. I told you guys I have something special. Guys, look what I got. I got a purple muscadine. I love muscadines. I just saw this yesterday at Tractor Supply, so I bought this purple muscadine. So I'm gonna plant muscadine grapes along here. I may even take some of my tomatoes and plant over there, because my tomatoes, guys, all right, so when I did my tour, I showed you there was a bunch of tomatoes on the ground that wasn't doing much. It wasn't doing much because I hadn't come in and pruned and lifted it up. When my friend Dan came over, she lifted up. Guys, look how tall that tomato was. But because I didn't put it up, I couldn't see that there are a whole bunch of tomatoes on here growing. So I'm treating this one to get it healthy again. This was definitely, my whole garden was neglected, guys. Not the whole garden, but I mean, there are things I could have done better. But, forget the past. I'm going to be doing better now that I'm retired. I do have tomatoes over here that animals have been feasting on. Same thing with this one. This one is probably huge. I see bunches of tomatoes along here. I'm kind of like just trying to prop it up, but what I'm going to do is take this tomato pot. These are all in the grow bags. I'm going to take some of these tomatoes and put them up along the trellis, since it's going to take a while for the muscadine grapes to set in. Let me just finish showing you the area. You can see my hibiscus, my tunas, everything is looking good. Of course, this is all going to be mulched over. I have a mountain of mulch in the front. I got 10 yards of mulch. So my pineapple I'm going to work on today off camera and try and mulch that in. Oh guys, look, oh my gosh, these naseberries are wonderful. I did get to come back and clean up the banana area. Probably do some hand pulling around it, but I'm just going to heavily mulch around it. I'm going to be using like a 4-inch layer of mulch that will, between that and cardboard, that will definitely suppress these weeds from coming back. All right, so let me show you real quick what I found last night. So, or rediscovered, I should say. So guys, all of here was all weeds. And this thing, I'm not even sure what this is, but it's a weed. But in my opinion, it's a weed. I didn't plant it. So guys, there were a whole bunch of orchids, and I knew I had some orchids at some point. I bought well, most of these I didn't buy them. Friends gave them to me for birthdays or my husband, and I'm not good. They don't really stay alive inside. I just put the orchids outside. These orchids are actually a piece of an orchid I took from my cousin and a piece I took from another friend. So these grown orchids, I just took pieces. I actually had it tied to the tree with that little green rope, but it fell off. But guys, look, I actually have orchids. So my friend Diane is going to come over and show me how to clean up the orchids. She's going to tie some up along the tree. Oh, wow. Oh my gosh. Guys, I didn't even know that this blooms. Guys, look. This is my my Hawaiian Thai plant. I have never seen it bloom, guys. But you know, these are the things you discover when you clean up your garden. Isn't this beautiful? Wow, this is a Hawaiian Thai plant. And I believe this grows from cutting. I think these were probably cuttings. I know when I first met Diane, she's the one that gave me these Thai plants. But look, there's another one over there, hidden among everything. I think there are another 2 over there. And my missing clippers that I was looking for. There is my clipper right over there. Anyway, guys, look, I have more orchids. Look at this. Oops, hold on, I don't want to break this tie. My monstera, I can now see my monstera. I have some beautiful paver stones along here. I'm going to have to like uncover them because I spent some good money for these paver stones. I can't even see them, but there are paver stones under here. But guys, look, more orchids. Look at that, guys, more orchids. More orchids coming. Yeah, so this area is next. Gonna be cleaning this up. Also, you guys have been asking me for my cranberry hibiscus seeds. These are all the seed pods. The seed pods are opening. They're completely dry. So this patch of cranberry hibiscus literally just popped up from seeds that fell last year from my one plant last year. This is probably a couple dozen plants that popped up. Anyway, guys, that's it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. I'm gonna have to take care of that plant. Can't remember what it's called, but that's a beautiful flower also. But the cranberry hibiscus is taking it over. Anyway, that's it for this video, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. It's a bit long. I'm gonna be doing more cleanup videos. Next one I think I'm gonna do is I need to clean my tools. Some of my tools are a mess because I left them outside and they rusted over. And gonna show you now that it's winter and we're going into spring, you want to make sure your tools are clean, your tools are ready. So I'm gonna have a couple more of these cleaning videos or getting ready for spring videos leading up to growing season. Hope you enjoyed this video. Till next time, guys. Bye now.